What's up, YouTube? Zero here, and welcome to the place where gamers, witches, wizards, and superheroes unite. Today, I have an epic battle against the Nergigante in Monster Hunter Stories 2, Wings of Ruin. Now, this Elder Dragon is an absolute behemoth, and this is an insanely tough battle. In this video, I'm going to show you this gameplay against the Nergigante, me defeating it with my team of monsters, and I'm going to give you some tips and tricks to more easily defeat this Nergigante, so when you go into battle, you're going to be more prepared. Because if you go up against the Nergigante and you aren't prepared, well, let's just say you may end up dying a few times before figuring out how to defeat this extremely powerful Elder Dragon. Now, before I get into it, I do want to say that if you do enjoy this video, feel free to give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button for more Monster Hunter Stories 2 Wings of Ruin content. I do a bunch of other video game videos and mystery box unboxing videos, so check those out as well after this video has completed. Thank you so much in advance for doing so. It really does help out me and my channel, and I really do appreciate it. Without further ado, the main event, me against the Nergigante, and the crowd goes wild. Nergigante and Agent Zero. This battle is absolutely epic. This monster is extremely hard and switches it up constantly throughout the battle. When you start the battle, it's going to start out with technical type attacks. As the battle progresses, then it's going to get into power type attacks. Then eventually, it's going to start using technical type attacks. You want to make sure that you have 3 monsties that are able to cover each of those different attacks. Remember, speed beats power, power beats technical, and technical beats speed. So when it starts out and starts using those technical type attacks, you want to use a power type monster, but not just any power type monster. You want to use a power type monster that is electrically inclined, because you want to shock the Nergigante to death. That's right, the Nergigante is weak to electrical type attacks. So you want at least 3 electrical type monsters in your party, and again, they have to favor the different type attacks. You want 1 electrical type monster that favors power type attacks, and you're going to want to start with that monster because the Nergigante is going to start with technical type attacks. Then you want an electrical type monster that prefers speed type attacks. Why? Because then the Nergigante is going to get into power type attacks, and speed counters power. Eventually, at the end of the video, you want a monster that prefers electrical technical type attacks, because eventually the Nergigante is going to start tricking you out and doing speed type moves. Now, the 3 monsters that I utilize in this battle against the Nergigante, first is the Ivory Legiocus. It is an absolutely awesome monster to have. It's electrically inclined, prefers power type moves, but can also get a speed type move if you do want to keep it in a little bit longer, and is easy to get once you reach Turga. As soon as you get into Turga, it's going to constantly respawn in the same area, so you can easily take it on over and over, make it retreat, hatch its eggs, and get the perfect build for you on your Ivory Legiocus that can help you take out this Nergigante. It's also one that I highly recommend in your party as you progress through the story, because it is powerful. It's a great power electric type monster to have in your party. Now, the second monster you're going to see me using, that's on the screen right now, is the Xenograde. Xenograde is going to prefer those speed type attacks. Now, it is also electric, and you can also find the Xenograde in Turga. However, it's going to be a little bit harder to find. You can get its eggs from rare monster dens. You can also find it roaming rare monster dens and make it retreat so you have an opportunity to get its egg. The Xenograde is another powerful electric type monster, and it prefers speed. Now, at the end of the video, you're going to see me pull out my Astalos. The Astalos you're also going to be able to get before you take on the Nergigante. Now, the Astalos is actually going to be a boss battle before you take on the Nergigante. After you do take on the Astalos, it will appear in Turga, so you will be able to attack it as many times as you want and make it retreat so you can get its egg. The Astalos prefers technical type attacks and is also a very powerful electric type monster. So the three monsters I use are the Ivory Legiocus for power, the Xenograde for speed, and the Astalos for technical. You can use whichever electrical type monsters you want that fit into those categories, but I prefer those three as they are extremely powerful. You can find them all in Turga, and they can really help you out in this battle. Now again, I said that the Nergigante was weak to electric, so it makes sense for you to equip yourself with electric type equipment. Make sure you have a sword that deals electrical damage. Make sure you have a hammer that deals electrical damage. Make sure you have a bow and arrow that deals electrical damage. Now, throughout this battle, there are times when you're going to see that its weak spots are different from what it actually says in the game. If you look in the Monsterpedia, its weak spots are different than when you're actually taking it on. When I'm attacking the head right there, it says that the Xenograde is weak to a sword and a bow and arrow. However, if you look in the Monsterpedia that I'm actually looking at right now in my legendary Nintendo Switch, it says that the Nergigante isn't affected by or isn't weak to a sword on its head. So this battle is going to be a little bit different from if you're actually looking in your Monsterpedia. Just something to be aware of. However, it should be weak to a sword in most aspects of this boss battle. But again, make sure that your equipment deals electrical type damage. Another important thing is that when its wings come up, you want to take out its wings first. Make sure you're targeting its wings whenever its wings come out and break its wings first. Typically, you should be able to do this with a sword. And again, we just saw that it was weak on its head to a sword and a bow and arrow, and now it resists both of those. So again, it changes up throughout the battle, so you're just going to have to be conscious throughout the battle as to what's going on, as to what point you're at in the battle, what you need to target. But again, when its wings come out, make sure you're targeting the wings. That's where its horns are, and that's where you're going to be able to more easily defeat this monster. This is a tough battle. You have your Cheval and his Monstie, his Raytheon, helping you out, but unfortunately Raytheon is not an electrical type monster. So make sure that you're loaded up with electric, your monsters are loaded up with electric, and also have a backup plan. So I have to call in my Nargacuga because my Xenograde didn't want to use a speed attack. I knew that the Nergigante was going to go power attack, so be willing to switch it up when you have to. Those head-to-heads can be crucial. If your monster, for whatever reason, doesn't want to utilize the attack you needed to, don't be afraid to switch it out. Remember, you need to be getting those head-to-heads as often as possible. The Nergigante is going to switch up its attacks a lot, and you want to make sure you are getting those head-to-heads. Don't be afraid to lose a heart, because it can happen. It happened to me. But you only get 3 to play with. So be careful. Luckily, with these tips and tricks, you should be able to demolish this Nergigante. And here comes my Astalos. We saw a lot of my Ivory Legiocus and my Xenograde throughout this battle. Now we get to see the Astalos. We also get to see my legendary electric sword. I love this sword. It is from the Legiocus that you can easily get parts from throughout the game. Make sure though that you do have that electric type equipment. I also have Astalos armor on, which is going to help me out in this battle because it's going to increase my electric damage. So if you are grinding and you do want to grind before this battle, make sure that you have armor that can enhance your electric type moves. The Astalos armor is great, especially at this point in the game. It's extremely powerful, and it's going to enhance your attacks. And look right there, a crit of 451. My Astalos is at 469. We are just, it went down, and we're saying, this is our game. You ain't got nothing on us, Nergigante. We're like Rocky in here, swaying back and forth. We're ready for the fight. And then when it switches to technical, yes, you're going to take a hit, but now it's time to switch out again. Just make sure you're constantly switching. Make sure that even if you aren't able to predict, you are switching it up when you notice that the Nergigante switches up its attacks. It looks like it's down. It's getting there. It's hanging its head. It knows we got it on the ropes. We're ready. We are like Muhammad Ali in this battle. We're floating like a butterfly. We're stinging like a bee. Too bad my monsters aren't butterflies and bees. That would have been so much better for the analogy in this video, but it didn't happen. It is what it is. Make sure you have potions just in case that you do lose your health. Again, the Nergigante, it hits hard. If you aren't paying attention to your health, I would recommend bringing a bunch of potions, mega potions, herbs, anything you can to heal yourself and your monsters, just because you only have those 3 hearts to play with. You get 3. Don't screw it up. So you have 3 hearts. You can lose 1, you can lose 2. I wouldn't want to get down that far though. And then sometimes you just bring in your Rathalos when, again, your monsters aren't cooperating and you need to get that move in that you want to get in. When you know what the Nergigante is going to do, and you have to shake your head at your monster, and you have to be like, dude, I brought you in because I wanted you to do a power type move, and you ain't doing a power type move. Alright, time to bring in my Rathalos and get that head-to-head damage, because head-to-heads are insanely important. Don't forget that. Head-to-heads are insanely important. And take out the wings. So, let's recap as we are about to defeat this Nergigante. 1. Make sure you have electrical type monsties, 1 of each of the 3 kinds. So, 1 of technical, 1 of power, and 1 of speed. Me, I prefer the Ivory Legiocus for my power, the Xenograde for my speed, and the Astalos for my technical. Make sure you are changing up your monsties throughout the battle because the Nergigante is going to switch it up. 2. Make sure you have electric type equipment. Again, this monster is weak to electric, so if you have electric type equipment, both on your weapons and your armor that enhances it, you're going to have a much easier time. 3. Don't be afraid to lose a heart, but just be conscious you only get a few hearts. And 4, make sure you're targeting the wings when the wings do come out. It's extremely important. Pay attention to what it's weak to. Again, it changes up throughout the battle. Sometimes it's weak to a sword on the head, sometimes it's not. So just pay attention to that as well. Hopefully with these tips and tricks, you're able to be like Rocky. You're able to take out this Nergigante. I'm sure Rocky fought a Nergigante in his life. I know Muhammad Ali took out a Nergigante. Absolutely. Floating like a butterfly, stinging like a bee. Muhammad Ali just taking out the Nergigante. But we won. It's over. Until next time. Peace.